Okay, so I want you to think about this for a second. In 2014, a movie came out that critics absolutely demolished. I'm talking 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Reviews calling it, and I'm not making this up, preferable to Felix. One critic literally questioned whether it qualified as a film by any standard definition of the word. Another said it was a feature length commercial. The consensus was almost unanimously that this was one of the worst big budget blockbusters in modern cinema history. And yet, and yet, it made over $1 billion worldwide. It was, listen to this, the only film in the entire year of 2014 to cross that mark. Not Guardians of the Galaxy, not Captain America, the Winter Soldier, not the Hunger Games, not Interstellar. This movie, this 2 hour and 45-minute monument to explosions and product placement and something called Transformium, was the undisputed box office king of 2014. How? How does that happen? How does a film that smart people widely regard as cinematic junk food, not even good junk food like the stale chips at the back of the vending machine, junk food, pull in more in money than almost anything else Hollywood put out that year? That question right there is what I want to dig into today, because I think the answer says something genuinely fascinating, not just about this movie, but about movies in general, about what we actually want from them, about what the global film market looked like in 2014, about how a franchise can get completely taken apart by critics and absolutely devoured by audiences at the same time, and what that gap, that enormous gaping chasm between critical opinion and box office reality, what it actually means. We are talking about Transformers Age of Extinction, and I have got a lot of thoughts. Alright, let me quickly set the table here for anyone who needs it. And don't worry, I'm absolutely not going to walk you through this movie scene by scene. That would take approximately the same amount of time as watching it, and I value your sanity too much. Here is a short version. It's 2014, the fourth Transformers movie. Michael Bay is back in the director's chair still. Aaron Kruger is back writing the script still, but here is a big change. Shia LaBeouf is gone. Same with Vicky, the awkward, slightly manic kid who carried the first 3 films as our human anchor. Gone, no explanation, no send-off, just replaced. His replacement is Mark Wahlberg, playing a guy named Cade Yeager. Cade is a Texas-based inventor and single dad who, according to the movie, is some kind of mechanical genius, but who also cannot apparently make rent. He lives on what I can only describe as a cinematic, struggling dad farm with his 17 years old daughter, Tessa, played by Nicola Peltz, and his buddy Lucas, who exists basically to be comic relief and then die. One day, Cade buys a beat-up old truck to strip for parts and sell the scrap metal. The truck is surprised Optimus Prime, wounded in hiding and deeply existentially done with humanity. From there, the world explodes, sometimes literally, and we get 165 minutes of robots, governments, conspiracies, a billionaire tech CEO, a bounty hunter from space, robot dinosaurs, a trip to Hong Kong, and more product placement than you have probably ever seen in your life. The key new additions: on the villain side, there's Lockdown, a Cybertronian assassin and bounty hunter working for mysterious beings called the Creators, who want Optimus back for reasons the movie gestures at but never fully explains. There's also Harold Etchinger, a CIA operative played by Kelsey Grammer, who's been hunting down Transformers and selling their corpse to a tech company by Joshua Joyce, played by Stanley Tucci. And Joyce is using those corpses melted down into a substance the movie calls Transformium because of course it does, to build his own army of controllable robot soldiers. Oh, and Megatron is back, kind of. He's been reincarnated through KSI's technology as a new body called Galvatron. Because if you thought this movie only had one villain plot happening at any given time, you thought wrong. And then, in the final act, Dinobots, giant fire-breathing mechanical dinosaurs, Optimus Prime rides one of them through the streets of Hong Kong. That image was in every trailer. It was a whole marketing pitch. That's a movie. Now let's talk about what it actually means. Moment 1. Ratchet's death. The scene that redefined the stakes. Okay, let's start here because I think this is actually one of the most underrated and genuinely gutting moments in this entire franchise. Early on in the film, before Cade even discovers Optimus, we watch Ratchet get hunted down by Symmetry Point, the Black Ops division working for Yeager, and Ratchet is not just some background Autobot. He's been in all three of the previous films. He is the medic. He is the one with the warm, slightly worried energy, the one who was always trying to patch everyone up. And in this movie, they drag him out into the open, injured, already damaged, and he tries to negotiate. He tells them where Optimus is. He thinks cooperation might save him, and lockdown just kills him anyway. Tears out his spark right there on screen. Now here's the interesting part. I have seen people say this movie doesn't have emotional stakes. I think that's wrong. Ratchet's death generally has stakes precisely because it happens before the movie even gets going properly. It's not a big dramatic third act sacrifice. It's almost casual. It's telling you right from the top that the rules have changed. The Autobots are not just embattled, they are being exterminated. The people who were supposed to be allies, the human government, have turned completely and nobody cares. Nobody coming to help. Think about what that actually says. 5 years after the Battle of Chicago, after all the times these robots bled and fought and died to save this planet, and response from humanity is to hunt them down and grind their bodies up for spare parts. They're genuinely bleak. That's the movie at this most honest and most dark, and then we never really return to that darkness again, which is, I will be honest, deeply frustrating to me. That opening half 4 is actually interesting. If the whole movie stayed in that space, morally compromised government, Autobots as refugees, a horror thriller energy, this could have been something special. But Bay can't resist the pivot to spectacle, and you feel the emotional engine cutting out right around the time we get to Chicago. Still, how that wretched scene hits. If you felt nothing watching it, I genuinely don't know what to tell you.
This one's interesting to me because it's actually a better scene than it gets credit for. Cade brings the busted up truck back to his barn and starts stripping it. He finds a fuel cell, some unusual components, bullet casing embedded in the frame. He identifies them as military rounds, and slowly, carefully, you watch this guy, who is supposed to just be a scrapper, realize he's found something extraordinary. There's a moment where Optimus comes online, just barely flickering, and the weight of what he is settles on the screen. And there's something Cade says, something about not letting them have it, about not turning in. It's not a grand speech, it's just a quiet decision from a guy who probably cannot afford to be making it. And I think this is Mark Wahlberg at his best in this movie. He's playing the scene completely straight. There's no winking at the camera, no goofing around. He's a man who found something alive and injured, and he's choosing to protect it. It's the kind of instinct you want to believe. People have the pull toward protecting something vulnerable, over the smart financial or legal calculation. Does the movie earn that? Does it build on that moral foundation? Honestly, kind of, but not really. The relationship between Cade and Optimus has some good moments, especially later when they argue about whether humanity deserves Prime's loyalty anymore, but it's always secondary to the explosions. It's always getting bumped by the next action set piece, and that's a real missed opportunity. Because here's the thing, in a better movie, this is the whole film: the broken robot and the broke inventor, the trust that formed between them. That's your movie. 2 hours of that building toward one decisive battle, clean, focused, emotionally invested. Instead, we get that premise for about 20 minutes, and then it's time for cars to transform and buildings to fall down for the next 2.25 hours. Okay, this is the one where I genuinely think Age of Extinction had an idea that was actually worth exploring. Cade infiltrates Joshua Joy's KSI facility in Chicago, and he finds, and this is genuinely chilling, the bodies of dead Autobots being melted down, suspended, half dissolved, being processed into transformium, and among them he finds something even more disturbing: brains. One of the surviving Autobots is essentially enslaved, hooked up to the KSI systems, forced to help download the minds of that deception so the company can use that code to program their own robot soldiers. And brains say something I actually wrote down. He talks about how they had no union, no benefits, no rights, just forced labor, just being used. Now think about what that scene is actually saying. Strip the skiff fear wrapper. You have a corporation that has formed a partnership with a government agency. The government agency delivers them raw materials, in this case the corpses of beings with what the film has explicitly established are souls. The corporation processes those beings into components. A private citizen who tries to expose this is branded a criminal and hunted down. That's not just a cool action movie concept, that's a genuinely dark critique of how military industrial complexes operate. The government validates the corporation's resource extraction by criminalizing the resource's existence. The corporation profits, the cycle continues. Here's the thing though, and this is the part that kills me: the film does not push on this. It rises it, nods at it, and then moves on. It never asks the hard question: what does it say about the humans we are rooting for, that their civilization responded to the presence of sapient beings by immediately looking for ways to commodify them? It's right there. The movie almost grabbed it, and then it cut to something blowing up. Let's talk about the scene that genuinely made me stare at my television in disbelief. Early in the movie, Cade finds out his 17-year-old daughter has a 20-year-old boyfriend named Shane. He is understandably not thrilled about this. He threatens Shane, says he shall call the police, the usual protective dad stuff. And then Shane, I am completely serious here, pulls a laminated card out of his wallet, a physical laminated card, and he reads aloud from it the details of Texas Romeo and Juliet statue, which under certain conditions exempt a person from statutory rape prosecution if the age gap between them and a minor is within a specific range. The film plays this as comedy, I think, or as Shane cleverly defending himself. But even in 2014, when this movie came out, this scene raised serious eyebrows, and watching it now, in the current cultural climate, is genuinely jaw-dropping because what the scene is essentially doing is having a 20-year-old man who is notably also sexualized throughout the film via his racial driving and general hunkiness explain why he is legally permitted to sleep with the minor, and the movie treats this as satisfying resolution to Cade's concern. Ha, the last say it's fine, moving on. Jack Reiner, who played Shane, reflected on the scene years later. He said, and I am paraphrasing, that looking at it through the lens of the #MeToo era, it's definitely problematic. That's a generous understatement. What makes it worse is this. The film then proceeds to objectify Tessa, Cade's 17-year-old daughter, pretty consistently throughout its runtime. Low-angle shots of her legs, the camera treating her the way By's camera always treats women in these movies, and having gone out of its way to legally justify why her adult boyfriend can be with her. It feels less like storytelling and more like the movie covering its own ethical basis so it can keep doing what it was going to do anyway. This scene has become notorious, and honestly it should be. It's one of those moments that reveals something uncomfortable about a filmmaker's perspective, about what he thinks is funny, what he thinks is acceptable, what he thinks audience should observe without question. Alright, let me balance this out with something I genuinely respect. The fight between Optimus Prime and Lockdown, particularly the later confrontation in Hong Kong, is legitimately excellent action filmmaking, and I'm not saying that reflexively, I mean it. Bai has actually pulled his camera back in this film compared to the muddled, incomprehensible chores of Revenge of the Fallen. You can actually see what's happening. The choreography is legible. You can understand the special relationship between the characters. Optimus has weight and mass and presence on screen in a way that feels earned. And Lockdown, we shall get into him more in the character section. But as a physical presence in a fight scene, he is formidable in a way that very few Transformers antagonists have been. He does not just charge and throw punches, he is tactical. When he impales Optimus with his own sword and pins him to a building, genuinely good moment. The tension there is real. There is also something about the visual vocabulary Bai uses in this sequence. The scale is massive: skyscrapers, suspension system, magnet ships pulling cars off the street. But within that chaos, the Optimus Lockdown duel stays focused. You don't lose them in the nice, and given how easy it would be to lose them, how many other by-action sequences collapse under their own visual weight, that's actually a craft achievement worth acknowledging. The resolution where Cade and Bumblebee distract Lockdown so Tessa and Shane can use a truck to pull the sword out of Optimus, allowing him to counter-attack. It's a proper ensemble action beat. Everyone has a role. The payoff lands. Is it enough to redeem the surrounding movie? No. But in isolation, this sequence is by operating at a legitimate technical peak. Okay, the Dinobots. Let's talk Dinobots. Every trailer, every poster, every piece of marketing for this film had one image burned into it: Optimus Prime riding a mechanical fire-breathing Tyrannosaurus Rex through the streets of Hong Kong, sword raised, absolutely screaming into the battle. And listen, when that moment finally arrives after 2 hours and 20 something minutes of getting there, it's kind of incredible, purely in the visual spectacle sense. The sheer audacity of it: fire breathing robot dinosaurs rampaging through an ancient city, and Optimus is on top of them, and it's gloriously, deliciously absurd. Here's my issue though: you wait so long for it that the impact is diluted. You are tired, you have already sat through so much movie. By the time Grimlock shows up, you are not leaning forward in your seat anymore. You are sitting back going, oh, finally, the joy should be explosive, and it's instead relieved. The Dinobots' actual introduction, Optimus freeing them from lockdown ship, then going down to the cage and essentially punching and sword fighting Grimlock into submission to prove he is worthy of leading them. That's actually a cool scene. It's got a mighty quality, a leader proving himself through trial by combat to earn the loyalty of legendary warriors. That tracks thematically. That feels like proper Transformers role. But then they get to Hong Kong and the Dinobots just kind of rampage around, and it's fun, but it does not mean anything. There's no moment where Grimlock makes a decision or shows character. He is just a very cool vehicle that Optimus happens to be sitting on, which kind of summarizes the movie's problem with its most exciting elements. The potential is real, the execution is thin, sets up everything and resolves nothing. The ending of Age of Extinction is fascinating to me specifically because of what it refuses to do. Optimus, after defeating Lockdown, tells the Autobots to protect the Yeager family. He takes the seed, the alien device that can cyberform organic matter into transformium, and flies off into space. He looks up at the star and he delivers a message to the creators: leave planet Earth alone because I'm coming for you. And then credits. No resolution of the creators subplot, no explanation of who the creators actually are. Galvatron escaped to fight another day. Spoiler alert, we don't fully pick that thread up in the last night either, so sit with that. The Dinobots are just released, apparently to roam wild in China. Nobody really addresses what happens next. Now I get it. This is the first of a planned new trilogy. They are setting up the mythology. They want you to come back. But here's the thing. This ending works on a weirdly emotional level that the film has not quite earned. The line, I am Optimus Prime and this message is to my creators: leave planet Earth alone because I am coming for you, is genuinely powerful. It's Peter Cullen's voice at its gravest and most commanding, and thematically it works because the whole film has been about the question of who has the right to decide the fate of a being. Are you defined by who made you or by the choices you make? Optimus choosing to confront his creators is him asserting that he is more than what he was built to be. That's good. That's actually the philosophical spine the world movie is trying to build. It's just buried under so much noise and nonsense that it almost does not land. Almost, but almost is not nothing. Let's start with Cade because Mark Wahlberg carries this movie on his very real, very large shoulders and he deserves a proper look. Cade Yeager is a specific type of Michael Bay hero that I want to name clearly. The working class American genius. He is not a soldier, he is not a scientist with a PhD. He is a guy in a barn who's smart enough to figure things out for himself, who believes in what he is doing even when nobody else does, and who is defined above all else by his love for his family. Bai has always been interested in this archetype. It goes back to the Rock, it goes back to the Armageddon, Roughnecks saving the world. There's a persistent fantasy in Bai's filmography that the most capable, most heroic, most morally clear-eyed people are the ones outside the institutions, not the government guys, not the corporate executives, the guy in the barn. And there's something real in that fantasy. Honestly, the sequence early on where Cade is trying to pitch his invention to his friend Lucas, trying to make ends meet, watching his daughter worry about college, filling the gap between what he imagined his life would be and what it is. That's relatable in a way that does not require giant robots. That's just the quiet humiliation of not being where you wanted to be by the time you thought you had been there. But here's the thing about Cade that the movie sort of glosses over his protective instinct toward his daughter, veered from touching into controlling very quickly. The film wants us to see him as a good dad, and in certain moments he is. But he also rapidly lectures Tessa, dismisses her judgment, tells her what to do and how to feel, and the movie always frames him as right. The daughter who is secretly dating a guy, she is in the wrong. The dad who won't let her live her life, he is just protecting her. It's that very specific cinematic dad logic that says paternal control equals love. What actually makes Cade interesting, and I mean this, is his conversation with Optimus about humanity. There's a moment where Optimus is in despair about humans, genuinely questioning whether the partnership is worth it anymore, asking how many Autobots have to die for human mistakes. And Cade says something like, "What do you think being human means? We make mistakes. Sometimes the most amazing thing come out of those mistakes." And in that moment, Wahlberg sells it completely. It's not a dramatic speech, it's just a tired man telling another tired being that imperfection is not a reason to give up on someone, and you feel it. That's the movie at its most genuinely human. The problem is that moments like that are Iceland in an ocean of nice. Cade deserve a film that was actually built around him. He got one that used him as the audience surrogate and kept cutting away from him to things exploding. Let me be honest about Tessa, because I think the film's treatment of her character is one of its most revealing failures. On paper, Tessa is a teenager who loves her dad, is trying to figure out who she is, and is keeping a secret relationship partially because she wants some agency in her own life. That's a coherent character. You could build a genuinely interesting daughter character out of those materials. What the film actually does with Tessa is use her as a moving part in the action sequence. She screams, she gets captured, she needs to be saved, she runs, she screams more. She has occasional moment of warmth with her dad that feel real, and then she is back to screaming and running. And all the high bias camera treats her the way bias camera always treats young women. Low angles, legs, a visual grammar that is at this point in his career reflexive and deeply thoughtful in the wrong direction. Nicola Peltz is not a bad actress. She is working with material that does not give her anything to actually do. There is no scene where Tessa makes a decision that matters to the plot, no moment where her perspective changes anything. She exists to be protected, to provide emotional stakes for Cade, and to be the object of Shane's affection. And that would be fine in a movie from 1985, in a movie from 2014. After decades of discussion about female representation in blockbusters, it feels lazy at best and actively regressive at worst. What's especially strange is that the film seems to sense this, hence the Romeo and Juliet scene, which reads as by trying to establish that the relationship is okay before you have time to think too hard about it, which again only makes the whole thing more uncomfortable. Joshua Joyce, the best character in the movie. I know. Let me explain. Stanley Tucci playing Joshua Joyce, the tech CEO with messianic ambitions, who's basically a Steve Jobs analog, is the closest this film gets to an interesting three-dimensional complicated character. Joyce starts the movie as a villain. He is arrogant, dismissive, convinced his vision justifies everything else. He is the one deciding that the bodies of Autobots are just raw material. He is the one building an army of controllable robots without fully thinking through what happens when a consciousness like Megatron's infects them. Is a brilliant man making catastrophically hubristic choices. But here's what I actually love about where his arc goes. He changes, he gets confronted by what he's actually done, by the reality of KSI's work, by the Autobots he is helped persecute, by the consequences of his choices, and he course corrects. He turns on He turns on Ettinger, he helps the Autobots, he uses his resources to actually protect people. Is it a complete arc? No. The film moved too fast for that, but Tusi plays the full journey. The arrogance, the dawning horror, the scramble to make it right with genuine humanity. There's a moment in Hong Kong where he is just completely out of his depth, scared, realizing that his brilliant plan was a catastrophic disaster. And Tusi plays that terror as comedy but also as something genuine. He is the character who must earn his place in the story, and he's not even the protagonist. Lockdown, the villain this movie actually deserved. Now we get to what I think is genuinely the most interesting character in Age of Extinction, and arguably one of the most interesting antagonists in the entire Transformer film franchise. Here's what makes Lockdown different from every villain that came before him. He is not a Decepticon. He is not fighting for control of the universe or revenge or ideology. He is an agent, a bounty hunter. He works for the creators, whoever they are, and his job is to retrieve Optimus Prime and bring him back to him. That means he has no investment in the Autobot Decepticon war. He is not on a side, and there's something almost refreshing about that in a franchise that has run on the same Autobots versus Decepticons exists for 3 movies. Lockdown does not care about good or evil, he cares about contracts and completion. But here's where it gets philosophically interesting. Lockdown says some genuinely provocative things in this film. He tells Optimus, "You think you were born, you were built, and they want you back." He talks about how species mixing upsets the cosmic balance. He frames his mission in terms of cosmic order and hierarchy. Beings built for purposes should fulfill those purposes and not deviate. That's a real worldview, and it's one that the movie is actually arguing against. Optimus' whole arc is the refusal of that worldview, the insistence that he is not what he was built to be, that he gets to choose, that identity is not destiny. Lockdown is the embodiment of the deterministic view. You were made for something, you belong to something, and there is no escaping the authority of your creators. Optimus is the embodiment of the libertarian view. You choose who you are through your actions, regardless of who made you, and that philosophical clash is actually kind of profound for a Transformers movie. It's not the film's central focus. The film's central focus is things exploding, but it's there, humming underneath, and Lockdown's physical presence, his ship full of imprisoned creatures, his calm efficiency in hunting down his marks. He embodies the horror of that deterministic worldview in a way that works. I genuinely think if this movie had been built entirely around Lockdown as the villain and had not crowded him out with Galvatron subplot and Ettingers and KSI and the creators and everything else, he could have been one of the great franchise antagonists. But we can't have nice things in these movies, not fully. Optimus Prime, the very soldier who keeps showing up, Okay, last character and a big one, Optimus himself. What Age of Extinction does with this Optimus that I actually find interesting is it makes him disillusioned, not just battle weary, genuinely philosophically disillusioned. He started the movie wounded, haunted, abandoned by the species. He spent 4 movies fighting to protect, and when Cade finds him and offers help, there's a moment where Optimus almost does not take it, almost decides it's not worth trusting a human again. That's a darker and more interesting version of Optimus than we have seen before. The heroic species are still there because they are always there. It's Optimus. Peter Cullen is legally required to deliver at least 3 monologues per film, but underneath them, there's something genuinely broken. This is a character who has given everything, watched his friends die, saved this world repeatedly, and been thanked with a government contract to have his body melted down. His line to Cade, "How many more of my kind must be sacrificed to atone for your mistakes?" is one of the worst things Optimus has ever said in these movies. He is not framing it as heroic, he is framing it as a question he genuinely does not know the answer to anymore. And here's the other thing worth saying, Optimus in this film is not a gentle giant. He kills people, he kills at anger a human without flinching. He does not hesitate, and the film has not really wrestled with that. It presents it as necessary and heroic, but it's a notable shift from the more classically noble version of the character. This Optimus is tired and he has done being merciful. Whether that's a character development or just by wanting more violence, I honestly can't tell you with certainty. Maybe both. The Okay, so let me ask you something. What does Age of Extinction actually mean? The obvious answer is the age when the Transformers are being hunted to extinction. But think wider. Think about what's actually happening in this movie's world. You have advanced alien technology that has suddenly been made available to human corporations, and the first thing those corporations do is figure out how to weaponize it and mass produce it. Joshua Joyce does not want to build transformers because he thinks it's cool. He wants to build them because he wants to create a proprietary weapons system that the government can use without any dependency on entities they can't control. The Autobots are being made extinct not by a superior enemy but by obsolescence, by being replaced with a cheaper, more controllable, more profitable version of themselves. They are not being defeated in battle, they are being phased out. Now, does that sound familiar? Because this film came out in 2014, and in 2014, the conversation about automation replacing workers was already getting loud. The question of whether human jobs, creative work, skilled trade, professional expertise could be replaced by machine equivalents was already very much on the table. The Autobots are skilled workers. They have been providing a service, protection, defense, partnership at great personal cost, and they have been replaced by KSI's controllable drones, factory made, no soul, no loyalty, no demands, just execution of commands. And Optimus says it explicitly. These manufactured robots have no sparks, the Transformers equivalent of souls. They are not beings, they are products. The age of extinction is not just the age of the Transformers. Extinction is the age of anything with a soul being replaced by something without one, because something without a soul is easier to own. I don't think By or Yeager was necessarily conscious of making this critique, but it's there. The film's central anxiety, whether it knows it or not, is the anxiety of being replaced by something that performs your function better at a lower cost. While the people in power don't have to feel bad about it because the thing doing the replacing does not suffer. The most unintentionally honest piece of dialogue in the film. I need to talk about transformium, the element that all the Transformers bodies are apparently made of, the thing that the alien creators seeded the earth with 65 million years ago, wiping out the dinosaurs in the process. The thing that KSI wants to harvest and mass produce. It's called Transformium. Now everyone has made fun of this name. It's become a culture punchline, and yes, it is an objectively ridiculous name for a fictional element. But here's the thing, it tells you everything about how this film was written. They needed a term, they needed something to call the MCGU fun, and rather than creating interesting science fiction or even borrowing from actual Transformers lore, Cybertronian metals like cybertronium, nuclear energon, they just describe what it does and added IUM to the end. It transforms. It's transforming. That lazy nominalism, naming things by what they do rather than by anything that gives them identity or depth, is the screenwriting philosophy of this entire film. Made literal. Characters exist to derive plot, not to be people. Objects are what they do. Locations are where action happens. Everything is functional and nothing is evocative. Transformium is the film admitting its own creative limitations at the molecular level, and I find that strangely poetic. Here's one that genuinely bothers me and I think deserves more attention than it usually gets. Lockdown tells us that they are being called the creators, ancient, powerful, extra dimensional entities who actually built Optimus Prime and the other Transformers. These creators have decided they want Optimus back. They have sent Lockdown to retrieve him, and at the end of the film, Optimus flies into space to find them and confront them directly. In the 2017 follows up Transformers The Last Night, this thread was supposed to be picked up. The mythology was supposed to deepen. We were going to find out who the creators are, what they want, why Optimus matters to them specifically. What actually happened was The Last Night came out and was even more critically revealed than Age of Extinction. It grossed significantly less internationally. The planned Transformers universe did not expand the way Paramount hoped. By stepped away, the franchise restructured, and the creators they were referenced in a muddled way, and the thread was never cleanly resolved. So, if you watched Age of Extinction in 2014 and left the theater intrigued by this mythology, by the idea of the beings who built Optimus, by what it means that he was constructed with purpose and is now defying that purpose, I have bad news for you. That story was never told, not properly. This is a recurring issue with franchise building, that priorities set up over story. Age of Extinction plants seed. It has absolutely no plan to water. The creators as a concept that exists to make Optimus ending feel meaningful, but who have no substance of their own. Locks down employers, the off-screen danger, the mystery that is never solved, is the cinematic equivalent of promising to call someone back and then never calling. The China co-production, and what it really tells you, this is the one that critics picked apart in 2014, and I think deserve a more mild analysis than haha they sold out to China. Age of Extinction was the first major Hollywood blockbuster structured as a China co-production from the ground up. That meant financial co-production money from Chinese partners, specifically China Movie Channel and Jiaflix Enterprises, which also meant obligations around Chinese content. The film had to feature meaningful Chinese location, Chinese characters, Chinese brands, and most importantly, China had to be portrayed positively. Hence, the scene where a Chinese official calls for the central government to send military support to Hong Kong, hence Lai Bingbing as Su Yuming, hence Stanley Tucci's character drinking Chinese milk products on a Hong Kong rooftop, hence a China construction bank ATM in Texas. The product placement for Chinese brand is jarring in a way that product placement for American brands in these films never was, because it was not seamless, it was required, it was contractual, and you can feel the difference between an organic integration and a mandated one. But here's what I think people miss in the conversation about this. This arrangement was not just about greed, it was a preview of the future of blockbuster economics, with China's box office becoming increasingly central to whether a global film was profitable or not. The question of how to appeal to Chinese audience and how to navigate Chinese co-production requirements was going to define Hollywood's next decade. Age of Extinction was just the first film to be clumsy and transparent about something that was going to become standard practice. Later films in various franchises made similar accommodations with more sophistication. The MCU learned from this. Fast Furious learned from this. You can do it and not have it feel quite as blunt as an ATM in Texas, but the impulse, the willingness to reshape storytelling to serve market access that has not gone anywhere. Age of Extinction just did it in the most unvarnished, unashamed way possible. Okay, this is a small thing, but I genuinely love it and I don't think it gets enough attention. The film opens 65 million years ago. An alien ship appears over a prehistoric landscape. Strange devices are deployed, and then Earth is seeded with a metallic compound, transformium, that begins to convert the surface, killing the dinosaur in the process. The extinction of the dinosaurs in this film's mythology was not caused by an asteroid, it was caused by the creators. It was deliberate terraforming. Earth has been someone else's project this whole time. That is genuinely cool idea. It rewrites the entire human relationship with our planet's history in a profound way. It suggests that what we think of as the natural world is actually the aftermath of an alien engineering project. It makes human the unintended consequence of someone else's plans, and it connects directly to the Dinobots, who are ancient Cybertronian warriors that existed on Earth long before humans. They were there when the creators came. They survived somehow, captured and imprisoned by lockdown. Is any of this explored with the depth it deserves? Absolutely not, but the seed of a genuinely fascinating science fiction mythology is there. The idea that Earth's entire geological and biological history has been shaped by forces humans have no knowledge of, that is actually profound. In a smarter, more patient film, that prologue would be the foundation of something extraordinary. Instead, it's set up for robot dinosaurs appearing in the third act. Still cool though. Here's something I keep coming back to with this movie. The Autobots spent 3 films breeding for this planet. They fought in Mission City, they fought in Egypt, they fought in Chigasso, they watched Fandai, Ironhide, Jazz, Wheeljack, Ratchet. The list gets longer with every film, and each time they were promised partnerships. They were told their sacrifice meant something. They were given sanctuary, and then the humans decided they were too inconvenient and started hunting them down. That is a really common human experience, not with robots obviously, but the experience of giving everything you have to a cause or a company or a relationship or a community, and then finding out that your contributions were conditional, that the gratitude was temporary, that once you were no longer useful or once your presence was politically inconvenient, the partnership was over. I think a lot of people watching this movie felt something in that opening moment that they could not quite name, because most of us have experienced some version of it. You do the right thing, you make sacrifice, you expect that those sacrifices will be recognized. that they shall mean as something lasting, and then the world moves on, and suddenly you are the liability instead of the asset. Optimus' bitterness at the start of this film is not just a robot being dramatic, it's the execution of someone who gave too much and was given too little back. That's a very human kind of pain. KSI build transformers, programmable, controllable, without the messy business of actual personality, history, free will, or moral complexity. You design them for a function and they execute that function. And Joshua Joyce says the original Autobots are inferior to his creations. Bumblebee, who has been through more than most characters in this franchise, who communicate through radio signals because he can't speak, who has developed genuine loyalty and relationships and a sense of self, is described as inferior because KSI's variant is more efficient. Think about how often we are surrounded by that logic in real life. The idea that something handcrafted, something with history and quirk and imperfection is inferior to something factory produced, optimized, scalable. The small restaurant is inferior to the chain because the chain has better supply chain management. The independent bookstore is inferior to the algorithm because the algorithm can recommend more efficiently. The human employee is inferior to the automated system because the automated system does not need breaks. Efficiency, controllability, scalability, these are real values and they have real benefits, but they also strip out exactly the things that make something more than just a mechanism: character, history, relationships, the capacity for surprise. Optimus says KSI's robots have no sparks. He means souls, but he also means these things don't have an inner life. They execute, they don't decide, and the world these films are building, where that's actually fine, where it's the better option, it is a cold one. The film set up an interesting problem that it does not fully think through. The agency hunting down the Autobots is the CIA Black Ops division. The government, the people who are supposed to protect citizens, are the threat, and the response in the film is for a random citizen Cade to just resist, to hide. Optimus refuse to cooperate, and then physically fight back when pushed. Now, in a summer blockbuster that's heroic, the little guy standing up to corrupt power, totally satisfying on a narrative level, but in real life, the question of what you do when the institution designed to protect you is actively working against you is one of the harder political and moral questions anyone can face, and it does not have clean answers. Civil disobedience, legal challenges, whistleblowing, community organizing, none of these look like Mark Wahlberg throwing robot alliance at CIA operatives. Unfortunately, what the film gets right in a blunt Hollywood way is that the legitimacy of authority is not automatic, that following orders stops being a virtue the moment those orders are fundamentally wrong. Cade does not trust Ettinger because Ettinger is a government official. He trusts his own judgment because his judgment tells him Ettinger is wrong. The scary variant of this, the variant the film does not explore, is what happens when everyone thinks their judgment is the reliable one. When everyone is so convinced that the authority is corrupt that they feel justified in doing whatever they think is right, that's a different and scarier story. But the core impulse, caution, authority, don't give institutions blind obedience is something worth carrying from this movie. Lockdown message to Optimus is the most philosophically dense thing in this film, and I keep returning to it. You think you were born, you were built, and they want you back. The implication you were made for a purpose, you belong to your makers, and their authority over you supersedes your own sense of self. This is the central tension of every AI story, every robot story, every story about being who were designed rather than born, and it maps onto real world debates about intellectual property, who owns creative work, a creator or the created. It maps onto adoption and parenthood. Do biological origins determine identity? It maps onto corporate employment. If a company trained you and built your skills and gave you your platform, do they own your output? Optimus rejects the premise, I am slave to no one. He insists that who he has become through his choices, the battles he has fought, the beings he has protected, the values he built his existence around, is more real and more definitive than who he was built to be. That's a libertarian philosophy of selfhood. You are not your origins, you are your choices, and the authority of your creators over you is legitimate only up to the point where you claim your own moral agency. The film wraps this in a franchise action movie, but the question is real, and it's getting more real every year as we build increasingly sophisticated systems and start having increasingly uncomfortable conversation about what they might be and what we owe them. Here's one more real world thread I want to pull. After the Battle of Chigasso, humans did not try to understand the Transformers better. They did not establish clearer protocols or more robust diplomatic relationships. They did not invest in communication and mutual understanding. They declared them all threats and started hunting them. That is, and I say this very carefully, a deeply documented human response to the unfamiliar and the powerful, the thing we don't fully understand, the thing we can't fully control, the thing that has caused damage even through good intentions. We don't figure it out, we eliminate it. and then we try to build something in its place that we can control. That's KSI, the controllable robot, the transformer without the inconvenient consciousness. You can map this onto almost any historical period where a powerful established group encountered something or someone they could not categorize or control. The response almost always involved some variant of suppression or replacement, and almost always the thing that got built in the suppressed thing's place was worse, less nuanced, less capable of genuine relationship, more brittle under pressure. Galvatron reactivates on his own the first time Joyce tries to use him. The controlled robot immediately starts pursuing its own agenda the moment it has the processing power to do so. The attempt to engineer out consciousness and agency does not work. It just differs the problem. The lesson: if the movie has one, you cannot actually solve the problem of complex beings by replacing them with simpler mechanism. You just create new problems. The only real answer is to figure out how to coexist with complexity. Alright, let me put Age of Extinction in context because I think it actually earns a more nuanced placement in the franchise ranking than the consensus gives it. Here's my rough ordering of the Michael Bay Transformers film, and I want to walk through why. Original Transformers 2007, still the best of the bunch. And look, I know that sounds like damning with faint praise, but I mean it sincerely. The 2007 film works because it has a clear, contained story. Sam finds the cube. Bad robots want it. Good robots are trying to stop them. The human elements work because Sam is a genuinely sympathetic, funny, relatable protagonist going through an experience that's overwhelming for exactly the reason it should be overwhelming. And there's a sense of wonder to seeing the Transformers for the first time. Optimus Prime revealing himself on that first night, Jazz and Ironhide and Ratchet appearing one by one. That's genuinely magical. The franchise has never recaptured it. Age of Extinction 2014. I had put this second, maybe controversially, but hear me out. Compared to Revenge of the Fallen, which is a genuine catastrophe of incoherent action, racist caricature, and absolutely no comprehensible plot, Age of Extinction is significantly more watchable. The camera has pulled back. You can see the fights. The villain is actually interesting. The first act has genuine emotional grounding. Wahlberg is a more capable action lead than the later LaBeouf. The mythology is more ambitious, even if it's executed poorly. Compared to The Dark of the Moon, a tighter film than Revenge of the Fallen, but still bloated and still emotionally thin. Age of Extinction has a more interesting philosophical underpinning. The Autobot as refuge story is darker and more honest than anything Dark of the Moon attempts. Lockdown is a better villain than Sentinel Prime, who is just a more powerful variant of a villain type we had seen before. Dark of the Moon 2011, third place for the reasons above. Revenge of the Fallen 2009, the Nether, the absolute bottom, racist, incoherent, bloated, a genuinely embarrassing piece of studio filmmaking. I'm not going to spend more time here because it does not deserve it. The Last Night 2017, I had put this below Revenge of the Fallen because at least Revenge of the Fallen did not actively destroy what little mythology had been established. The Last Night takes the creator mythology set up in Age of Extinction and just sort of waves at it high, doing something completely different involving Merlin and Nazis and a horn that can end the world, and Optimus Prime going evil for about 20 minutes before changing his mind. It's the most expensive and least coherent film in the franchise. So, if you are asking where Age of Extinction lands, I had say it's the second best of our franchise with only one actually good film, which is not a ringing endorsement, but it's more than the 18% Rotten Tomatoes score suggests. The improvements Age of Extinctions made over its predecessors were real. The cinematography is steadier, the new villain is fresher, the philosophical territory is richer. If this movie had been edited down to 105 minutes, cut the Galvatron subplot entirely, focused on Cade and Optimus and Lockdown and the creator questions, I think it could have been genuinely good. What held it back was not vision, it was discipline, it was the refusal to say no to any idea, any subplot, any product placement check, any sequence that added runtime without adding meaning. Let's talk numbers because the numbers here are generally extraordinary and I think deserve proper context. Budget $210 million. That makes it the most expensive Transformers film up to that point, even more expensive than Dark of the Moon. For reference, the original Transformers was made for $150 million and Revenge of the Fallen for $200 million. Opening weekend domestic $100 million. Solid franchise typical, not a record but a strong showing. Domestic total $245 million. This is actually a franchise low up to that point. Dark of the Moon had done $352 million domestically. So in the United States and Canada, Age of Extinction underperformed its predecessor significantly. International total $860 million approximately. This is where the story gets extraordinary. China alone over $300 million. That is not a typo. More than $300 million from a single overseas territory. It was the highest grossing film in Chinese cinema history at the time, the first film ever to cross $300 million at the Chinese box office, and that number almost single-handedly explains how Age of Extinction crossed $1 billion worldwide when its domestic performance was down from the previous film. Worldwide total $1.105 billion. the only film in 2014 to cross $1 billion globally. Not Guardians of the Galaxy $773 million. Not Captain America the Winter Soldier $714 million. Not Maleficent or the Hunger Games Mockingjay or Interstellar or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Transformers 4, the one with the 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, the one with Transformium Deadline Hollywood, which tracks actual profitability rather than just gross, calculated the net profit at $250 million after accounting for all expenses including PA, making it the most profitable film of the entire year. So was it a hit or a flop? Financially, it was the hit of 2014. Critically, it was a disaster, and the gap between those two things is one of the most instructive lessons the film industry could possibly offer. The critical scored 18% on Rotten Tomatoes at launch, which puts it in the company of genuinely awful films, things that are almost universally agreed to be failures of craft, and yet audience scores told a somewhat different story. The cinema score, which measures audience reaction on opening night, was a B plus positive, not raptures but positive, and on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score was significantly higher than the critics score. The opening weekend audience was 64% male, 58% under 25 or over 25 evenly split, and 27% 118. That's your score. Transformers audience, young but predominantly male. They are for the action, and they were not disappointed by their own standards. What this tells us is that critics and the core Transformers audience are genuinely evaluating this movie by different standards. Critics are asking about coherence, character, thematic depth, formal filmmaking skill. The target audience is asking, are there giant robots? Do they fight? Is it loud and big and visually overwhelming in a way that feels like a fair trade for my ticket price? The answer to the second set of questions was yes. The real story, though, is China, and the real story of China is what it says about the future of Hollywood. Age of Extinction's China numbers proved definitely that the largest market in the world could be activated for an American franchise if you built your film's production, casting, and locations to specifically appeal to Chinese audience. It changed how studios thought about international filmmaking, not always for the better, but the proof of concept was clear. If you want your film to make $1 billion, you cannot ignore China. And if you want China's money, you have to give China something to recognize itself is on screen. I have said it already, but I want to reinforce it here. Lockdown is genuinely the best thing about this film from a creative standpoint. He is visually distinct. The ship built to him, the different weapon system, the general sense of compact lethality. His motivation is original. within the franchise. His philosophical position is interesting. His presence raises the stakes in a way that feels different from the Decepticons' want power formula. He is also voiced well. The voice work gives him a cold efficiency that matches the character design and his line deliveries in the key philosophical moments, talking about creators, about being built, about cosmic order, land with more weight than they probably should in a movie called Transformers 4. Genuinely be improved. The camera in this film is steadier and more purposeful than in Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon. You can see what's happening in the fight sequence. The geography of the action is readable. When Optimus is fighting, you understand where he is relative to the opponent. That sounds like a low bar, and for this franchise, it kind of is, but it matters. It's an improvement that makes the experience significantly more watchable. Whatever you think of Cade Yeager as a character, Wahlberg commit to him completely. He never looks embarrassed. He never winks at the audience. He plays every terrible line of dialogue with the absolute conviction of a man who believes in what he is doing. And that sincerity is actually infectious. He makes you feel something for a character. The script barely bothers to develop the first act setup before things start exploding. The opening 30-40 minutes of this film are genuinely the best extended sequence in the movie and maybe the best extended sequence in the franchise since the original's first hour. Ratchet's death, the government conspiracy framework, Cade finding Optimus, the emotional grounding of Cade struggling that situation, the moral weight of choosing to protect Optimus even at personal risk. If you gave this first act to a more disciplined director and said make a 2-hour film out of this premise, I think you could have something genuinely great. The Dinobot fight choreography, when the Dinobots finally arrive and the action kicks into its final gear, there's a kinetic energy to it that works. Optimus riding Grimlock is a payoff of a kind, not the payoff the movie earns, but a payoff. The sheer spectacle of mechanical dinosaurs fighting mechanical drones in the streets of Hong Kong is absurdist in a way that's almost artistically committed. The man elevates everything around him through sheer force of charisma and talent. His arc from arrogant tech genius to panicked bystander to reformed ally is the only arc in the film that actually completes. He makes the bad dialogue sound almost intentional. He finds genuine comedy in the chores without undercutting the scene's internal logic. The runtime 165 minutes is generally punishing. There is no version of this story that need to be 165 minutes, not even close. The film has approximately 7 different subplots: the cemetery wind conspiracy, the KSI transformium program, Galvatron's resurrection, Lockdown's mission, the Dinobot mythology, the creator mythology, and the Yeager family drama. and it commits meaningful screen time to all of them without resolving most of them cleanly. If you cut the Galvatron subplot, which goes nowhere meaningful in this film anyway, you save 20-25 minutes and you lose almost nothing of value. If you tighten the Hong Kong finale, which sprawls massively and loses geographic coherence, by its midpoint you save another 15. You are suddenly at a 125-minute film and it's a completely different experience. The length is not padding, it's a confusion masquerading as abundance. The product placement, there's too much and it's too obvious. I want to be fair here because every big blockbuster has product placement and it's really this discussed, but Age of Extinction's product placement is in a category of its own. You have a character using a Chinese bank's ATM in Texas. You have Stanley Tucci demonstrating futuristic align technology by having it form into a Beats speaker with the logo prominently displayed. You have Mark Wahlberg drinking Bud Light from a can he found after a spaceship crash for no plot reason whatsoever. You have Victoria's Secret and Gucci and Cadillac all featuring prominently. You have a Chinese milk drink getting a slow glamour shot on a Hong Kong rooftop. None of these are subtle, none of them feel like organic storytelling. They feel because they are contractual obligations being fulfilled in the least creative way possible. At a certain point, it stops being distracting and starts being almost conceptually interesting. Is this what cinema become when it's primarily a commercial delivery mechanism? Is the story just the container for the bands? One viewer called the film a feature-length commercial, and while that's reductive as a full judgment, for these specific minutes, it's accurate. The Romeo and Juliet scene, this should not have happened. Already covered this season in detail, but it belongs in the what did not work section because it's the clearest example of the film's blind spot around its female character and the relationship around her. It's uncomfortable, it's played as comedy, it does not work, it did not work in 2014 and it works even less now. The Galvatron subplot set up for the sequel that never paid off. Galvatron, Megatron's new body created by KSIZ's transforming technology, should be a fascinating villain. The idea of Megatron essentially engineering his own resurrection through human arrogance is smart. The scene where brains explain how it happened is one of the film's better exposition beats, but then Galvatron expand the rest of the movie just sort of causing problems in the background and retreating. He activates, infects the KSI drones, fights a bit, and then promises to return. And then he does return in the last night, and the payoff is not great. He deserves to be either the central villain of this film and the expense of lockdown, or not in this film at all, being in the middle as a secondary villain subplot who coexists with lockdown without ever having a proper confrontation with him makes both characters weaker. The daughter being consistently a damsel, Tessa screams, Tessa runs, Tessa gets captured, Tessa needs to be saved, repeatedly. The film shows her being objectified by its own camera. She is given one or two nice scenes with her father and then used as a plot device for the remaining 2+ hours in a franchise where your central human protagonist daughter is literally a 17-year-old girl and you are making a $210 million film. You had think there would be some investment in giving her actual agency, but that required the kind of attention to character that Biles film consistently fail to prioritize. The mythology set up without payoff. The creators, the Knights of Cybertron, Optimus being specifically requested what the seed really is, why the creators want Optimus back after all this time. None of these questions are answered in Age of Extinction, and as I have mentioned, they were not properly answered in the last night either. Setting up mystery is fine, setting up mystery and then never resolving it because your franchise plans collapsed is a failure, but not necessarily Bai's fault. What is his fault is building 40% of the film's dramatic engine around questions it cannot answer in its own runtime. The two movie problem has the fundamental structural issue. Age of Extinctions feel like two films badly stapled together. The first half Cade, Optimus, Cemetery Wind, KSI, The Hunted Autobots, and the second half China, Hong Kong, Dinobots. The finale have different energies, different tones, and are almost connected through coincidence more than story logic. The movie to China is narratively abrupt and feels like exactly what it is, a commercial requirement rather than a storytelling decision. Suddenly, our characters are in Hong Kong because the deal required it, and the film scrambled to justify it. Joshua Joyce has Chinese business partners. The seed need to go to China. The Chinese military will help. None of it flows naturally. It all feels like a production deal being satisfied by a screenplay, and when you can see the business logic underneath the story logic, that clearly something has gone wrong at a fundamental level. Okay, we are at the end, and I want to make a moment to say something that might be slightly unexpected coming from someone who just spent a long time cataloging this movie's problem. I don't hate Transformers Age of Extinctions. I know, with everything I have said, the product placement, the Romeo and Juliet scene, the runtime, the unresolved mythology, the damsel daughter transformium, I should probably feel more contempt than I do, but I don't, and I have been sitting with that. Why? I think it's because this movie is an honest artifact. It does not pretend to be something it is not. It's a Michael Bay film in 2014, which means it's a delivery mechanism for spectacle, patriotism, product placement, explosions, and franchise building. It has all the ambitions and all the values that description implies. It was made by a system that prioritizes global commercial appeal above almost everything else. It has the fingerprints of every compromise that system demands: the China co-production money, the brand deals, the franchise sequel setup, the desire to appeal to the widest possible demographic, and within all of that, it also has a genuinely interesting villain, a performance from Mark Wahlberg that's more sincere than the material deserves. A first act that almost find the emotional depth the story is reaching for, a philosophical thread about autonomy and identity, and who get to define what a being is worth that runs through the whole film, quiet and persistent, almost like it snuck in when no one was looking. Age of Extinction is what Hollywood looked like at a specific moment in 2014. The China pivot, the franchise arms race, the product placement industrial complex, the pivot to global marketing over domestic critical consensus. It's all there, visible and unashamed, and watching it now, almost a decade plus later, is like looking at a time capsule of exactly how the blockbuster economy was working at that moment in history. Does that make it a good movie? No, not really. I had be lying to you if I said the 18% on Rotten Tomatoes was wrong. The critics were not wrong. The movie is too long, too loud, too incoherent, too comfortable, objectifying its female characters, and too willing to sacrifice story logic for commercial obligation. But does that make it nothing? Also, no, there's something here. There's something trying to be here, fighting against the runtime and the mandates and the franchise requirements, and I find that struggle more interesting than a film that simply fails and has nothing else to offer. Optimus at the end, flying into space, issuing his message to the creators, I am coming for you. I still feel something watching that. I still feel the weight of it. The character has been through so much. The actor has voiced him with such consistent gravity across 4 films, and there's something in that moment of a being choosing to confront the power that made it rather than submit to it. That's not nothing, that's actually something. Even in a movie called Transformers Age of Extinction, even with Transformium. So here's what I want to ask you, and I am genuinely curious. I want your actual thoughts in the comments. Do you think the gap between critical scores and audience appreciation in these films is fair? Like, are critics just applying the wrong standard to a film that was never trying to be Citizen Kane, or are they right to hold it to rigorous standards because its budget and global platform mean it should be held to those standards? Because I go back and forth on this honestly. Part of me thinks it's Transformers, it's summer entertainment. Judging it by art house film standard is like rating a roller coaster on its literally merit. But another part of me thinks when you have $210 million and the world's largest studio platform, and you choose to spend it on this, and you are making choices about what cinema can be, and those choices matter. Where do you land on it? Drop your thoughts below and tell me, if you had to save one thing from Age of Extinction, one scene, one character, one moment, what would you keep? I have got mine. It's Ratchet's death and the quiet dignity of a character who served well being taken out by indifferent power in the first 10 minutes of a film that does not deserve that kind of honest darkness. That scene I shall remember. The rest of it, well, at least there was lockdown. Thanks for watching. I shall see you in the next one.